Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So in the previous video we have completed till creating an Angular application. So in the previous video we have created this application called first app. Okay. So once we have created this application, so this is what we get. We get a node module, we get source folder, and inside it we have multiple files like this app and asset folder, index.html and everything. And also, if you see in the root that we have this tsconfig app, package.json, karma.json, angular.json and everything. Okay, so we'll go one by one, like what does this file actually does. Okay, so before going deep into this folder structure, so I'll just have a discussion on that. Whenever we are creating an Angular application, so we are making use of three tech stack here. Okay, the first technology which we are using is we are installing Node. Okay, second thing we have this TypeScript. Okay, and the third thing which we are using is the Angular itself. All right, so whenever we have this all tech stack, so at that time there must be some configuration done. Okay, so that we can make use of it. All right, so for configuring your node, so we have this package.json. Okay, this file, and for configuration of your Angular we have this angular.json. And when I say about TypeScript, so TypeScript configuration are done in tsconfig.json. Okay, so now you guys will be clear that why we are using this tsconfig.json, package.json and angular.json. Okay, so let me start things off with package.json. all right, so whenever you install your application, whenever you say ng new and you give a name of your project, so the first thing which gets initialized, or we can say get configured, is your package.json. okay, so this thing created first. So when you see inside this package.json, you will see the name of your project, version of your project, and there are scripts. Okay, and then we have this dependencies, and then we have this dev dependency. Okay, we'll go one by one. So this name and version is like pretty clear by their name only, that this is just an app name and versions of your application. So when you go inside your script, you can see we have this key and value. So ng is basically whatever we have installed ng in our system, like we have Angular, right? Then we can make use of this ng. Okay, so then we have this start. Okay, whenever we type npm start, so at that time it will trigger this command which is called ng-ser. Then we have this build, same goes with this. We just have to type npm and then with this script name, build, watch and test. So let me give you an example here. Suppose when I am just typing here npm start. Okay, when I hit enter, so here you can see it will trigger a command ng-serve. Okay, so this is what it is doing. So when you try to type npm build, so this will trigger, ng build will hit, the ng build command will run. Okay, so all this thing is there for that inside the script file. Okay, so here we have two things now, dependency and dev dependency. Okay, so dependency means whatever like file which is required for creating an Angular application. So everything we have here, okay, everything will have inside our dependency. Suppose we need Angular material. Okay, so we need to do npm install @Angular material and all that. So whenever we do that, whenever we install anything for our project, then all this will get configured here inside this dependencies. Okay, talking about the dev dependency, so dev dependency is basically whatever is used when you are doing development. Okay, so it will not go when you are into your production. Production means when your app is developed and it has been used by people. So at that time it will not make use of it. Okay, so we don't need testing files and all these files when your application on production. So testing is done when you are doing development, right? So that is the reason we have this dev dependencies files, so where everything will be configured for your development purpose. So this was all about your dependencies and dev dependencies. Okay, suppose in future I'm going to install something here. So let's for an example, let me do npm install jQuery. Okay, so what it will do, so this npm is basically your node package manager. Okay, I'm saying it again, it's node package manager. Okay, so whatever package you need for doing your development of your application, So it will have this. Okay, it will fetch internet. It will go ahead and go on the internet and it will check that it has jQuery or not. If it has, then it will go and fetch it for your project and it will install it for you. So here you can see we have this jQuery installed. Okay, we have the version 3.6.0. It just goes on internet and checks for it. If it has, then it will do it for you. So basically when we say npm, so npm helps us in that. Okay, it manages our packages. npm, if you guys are from C# background or people who are from like Java background, so in Java we have Maven, which does this thing, and in C# when we develop an application in .NET Core, so we have this Nugget package manager. Okay, so the same thing when we are into JavaScript, so we make use of this npm to install our packages, so that we can make use that in our project. All right, I hope you guys are clear here. So we have completed this package.json. Okay, so now when I have did install that npm install jQuery, so here you can see my in package.json I have this configured now, jQuery 3.6.0. okay, so whatever it is installed, like the version will get configured here, but the file, if you want to check, so it will get inside your node module. All right, so whatever packages you are having in your package.json, it will get inside this node module. All right, when I say I have this Angular/core, okay, so when you go inside your Angular, so you can see this, everything is there inside your package, inside your node modules. All right, so this is what your node module is. The node module will consist of all the packages which you are installing for your application. So this is very important. All right, so now I'll go with Angular.json now. Okay, the second thing here is Angular.json, the most important. So when you the Angular.json is basically have all your schemas, it has your versions. Okay, so what type of project it is, like new project root. Okay, it has everything. It has schematics like what type of style I'm using. So when I was installing my application, so I have choose SCSS. If you choose CSS there, then the style will be CSS here. Okay, so that you guys can configure later on as well. Okay, so inside our project, when I see inside my project, I have this first app. Okay, so inside, and my default project is also like pointing to this first application which I have created. Okay, so inside our first app, you can see my project type I have. Okay, and it says that strict, it must use strict type of application. The strict checking will be there. Okay, then we have this prefix called app. Whenever we have that selector app hyphen that app, then all this, I know this will be like quite confusing for you guys, but you don't have to go deep inside all these things because we are not going to use it inside our project. When we are into my project, so I will barely touch this particular file, angular.json. I'm just telling you what things we get. Okay, we have this architect file here. Okay, inside this we have build configuration. So whenever I hit that ng build, okay, so at that time it will have this configured that make use of this builder, and we have the option path that, sorry, the output path where I want to store the file. It should be inside our dist folder. Okay, so when we do ng build, so at that time it will take this configuration from this angular.json. In the same way we have ng serve, so at that time it will do the same thing. It is serving that it is making use of this particular builder for dev servers, and same thing, it will have some configuration that for production target this, for development you can target this, and we can configure our own. Suppose we need to have for QA, so we can have that as well. All right, so this is all we can do. And in the same way we have for test as well. When we say ng test, so at that time make use of this builder, this karma, and here you can see we have in the options what things to use and all that stuff. Okay, so every configuration which you need for your for your Angular, so you will get it from your Angular.json. All right, so this was all about your Angular.json. Now coming to the tsconfig.json. Okay, so all the TypeScript configuration is done inside this tsconfig.json. Okay, it has the compiler save option. We have this compiler option, and we have this Angular compiler options, two things here. So suppose you have to have this strict template checking, then you can have this true. We need to have strict input access modifier check and all these things, so that you can configure it from here. Like all the TypeScript stuff which you want to configure, you can do it from here, from this tsconfig.json. All right. So this was all about this main three things: this angular.json, package.json, and tsconfig.json. Okay. And I've already told you, you don't have to touch this file. Okay, oftenly. Now let's coming to this karma.config.json. Okay, so this we have because we have already, because Angular helped us to configure this testing for us, because we can do Jasmine. We can make use of this Jasmine Karma for doing unit testing in Angular. Okay, so unit testing is also possible here in your Angular application. So I'll let you know that what exactly this file does. Okay, when I'll start a session, when I'll start a dedicated series for Angular testing. So at that time I will explain you. But this configuration is mostly for your testing purpose. If you are not into testing, then you can skip this. Okay. Now let's talk about what is this tsconfig app.json. So it just extends your tsconfig, and it just have some output directory file which you want to set and all that you can do. In the same way, we have this tsconfig.spec.json. When I say spec, which means it is for testing purpose. So the testing configuration, you can do it from here, because this extends your tsconfig.json, so you can do all your extra configuration file here inside it. All right. I hope I am clear to all here now. So now the last thing which is remaining here is readme.md. So this is basically tells you that it is just a readme file, that how you can build your project, you can test your project, and suppose you want to have some extra information about your application does this, or you need to have something known to your, like suppose someone is using an application, then you can have some detailed description here. Okay, whatever you want to put. So this is not basically used in your project. This is just for reading purpose and just for understanding of your project to other team members. Okay, so that's the reason we make use of this readme.md. all right. So now let's coming to this, the most important part here, which we gonna use most oftenly, the source file. Okay, the src. Okay, so in the src you can see here that I have this app. Okay, so inside our app, this is our root app which Angular already creates for us. Okay, so when I was creating my new application, so I have told that yes, I need routing. Okay, so Angular did that for me already. So it has configured this Angular routing.module.ts. So I have this file already made by Angular. Okay, so I have this app.component.html file. I have this SCSS file. Okay, I have this spec file. So I was telling you that whatever you see that spec.ts and all that, so all that file is for testing purpose. If you're not interested in testing, if you're not doing it right now, then you can delete this file. Then there is no need of this spec file at this moment. So let me delete it. Okay, so now here you can see I have this app component.ts file, and I have this module, app.module. Okay, so Angular is basically, in Angular we have the concept called module and component. Okay, so after this video I will have a video on what is module and what is component in Angular. Okay, so inside your app you will have all these things. Okay, I'll go deep inside this, but let me just cover up these things. Okay, so I have this asset folder. Inside it I will have all my static files, like my images, or if I want to have some like extra CSS, my own custom CSS file, so that all static file I can keep inside this asset folder. Okay, I have this environments. Suppose I want to set some environment variable, suppose I want to have some API links which I want for production and development server, so that I can do from here, that I can set it from this environment. So from here I can make use of the variables, environment variables, which I need to have for my project. Then I have this favicon.icon. So this is the like we have this icon whenever we install our any application, when we run it. Let's go and let me just open up my terminal, and because I have already served one of my application. Let me go into this node module. So yeah, it is running already. Let me open it up. Now you can see I have my app running. Okay, so this is what the favicon is. On the top you can see this icon is coming from here, this favicon.io. Okay, if I don't have this, then our Chrome browser will throw an error that 404 that he cannot find this file. Okay, so that's the reason we have this favicon.io ICO. Okay, then we have this index.html file. So this is our main HTML file which gets rendered. Okay, when I say rendered, let me show you what I am saying. When I inspect this, so here you can see I have this file which is getting rendered on my browser. So whatever you see on your browser, it is all your index.html file. So this is the most important file which you will see. Okay, so this is the most important file. Okay, this is a root HTML file, and in the same way we have this main.ts file. Okay, which helps to bootstrap. Bootstrap means running first, which helps to run your what we say app component Alright, so I'll go deep into it, like how exactly workflow of Angular is, okay, what things run first and what gets rendered and all that. Okay, so this is what your index.html and main.ts is. Okay, this runs first and this renders first on your particular project. Then we have this polyfills.ts. So this is basically for outdated browser if you are using Internet Explorer, but now I think IE is deprecated, so we don't want all that support for IE now, because in November or October it is going to be deprecated. Suppose if you have you want your application to run on some old browsers, so at that time we have this polyfill.ts. We can have this imports for all the browsers so that it will support your application. Okay, but now I think Angular is like upgrading now, so I think there will be not much use of this files now, like for outdated browsers and all that. So I think it will mostly be, the application will develop mostly on your the new latest browsers, rather than supporting it on some old outdated browsers. Okay, this is just my conception, that this is what I think. Let's see. Then we have this style.scss file. Okay, so this style file is basically if you want to do any global styling for your application, so that you can do it from here. Okay, so suppose I want to have padding 0, like by default. Suppose for all the pages, like for all the HTML pages, I want to have this styling, so I can do it from here. Like I can give a global styling from here, so that it will be this style will be used for all the HTML files which I have inside my components. Okay, so if you want to do some component specific styling, then you do it from app.component.scss, from this file. But if you want something global, then at that time you can have the global styling from here, from this file, style.css. And the last is our test.ts file. So this is again, when I say for testing purpose only, then it will help to run your test file first. So for that reason we have this test.ts. So we have this so that it will check for your spec file. Anything will have .spec.ts, so it will consider it as your testing file. Okay, so everything is that has been configured from here, from this text.ts. Okay, so we have completed the folder structure basically. Now let's get deep into this, what I have told, that what exactly an app is. Okay, so now when I say, whenever you are seeing anything on your web browser, like you are saying this buttons type thing, it is getting hovered and all this thing, first app is doing everything, it is coming from here. It is coming from your app component.html. Okay, so here when you see here, we have this styling, and then we have this HTML file. Okay, let me show you. Okay, yeah, so here you can see my title. So this title is coming from where? This is coming from this app.component.ts. So I have this title here. Suppose I will say it as let's program, and I will save it. Okay, so whenever I save this, my changes get reflected automatically. It will refresh it and it will change it for you. So now the title has been changed. Okay, now it is like let's program app is running. Okay, so this is what it is. So this is your HTML file. If you change anything here, it will get reflected on your browser. Okay, let me remove this and write something like YouTube channel. I will have something like this, and let's save it and let's check now again. So now you can see it gets changed to like YouTube channel, whatever I have changed here. Okay, so whatever you have, whatever you can see on your browser, it is all your HTML file. Okay, app.component.html file. Let me remove this everything and let me save it and check. So now everything is gone. Now let me have one div tag, and inside it I will have a h1 tag with call it my first tab. Control save and let's check. So we can see now we can have this. So now you guys must know, like whatever you will see, like whatever things which get rendered, it is all your HTML file. Okay, so now let's try to style this thing. Okay, let me style whatever my h1 heading will be. I want to have the color as red. So I can do like component based styling from this app.component.scss. Now you can see the color has been changed to red color, whatever I have here in this my style.css. Okay, so this was all about the folder structure, like how exactly an Angular application like gives us, like whenever we install an application and all that stuff. Okay, so yeah, that's brings like end to this video. If you guys have any doubt, then you can mention it in the comment section. I will be definitely there to help you guys if you have any doubt. And also I have my Telegram channel. I will have a link in the description as well. If you have any doubt or if you need any support while you are creating your application, if you're facing any error, then you can connect with me on Telegram and I will be there to help you guys. Alright, so till that time, bye bye and keep learning.